Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's virtual plant clinic. My name is Bill Lester. I'm with University of Florida Extension here in Hernando County. And with me today, like most weeks, is my regular co-host, Lily Browning. Good morning, Lily. How are you?
I'm just fine, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm at the office.
Yes.
I
So
think I
am I.
have everything under control today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What you don't see is before he turns on, the go live, I was fussing that my hair looked goofy and.
Yeah, I almost clicked go live a minute or so early just to catch that, but I didn't.
Good morning, Monique and Buddy.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? Oh, I'm sure Buddy is cold up there. The temperature up in the panhandle is like 30 degrees lower than it was yesterday, I think.
I follow the Leon County Cooperative Extension Facebook, and they've got some pretty cool things going on. I don't know if Buddy has been keeping up with that. Some different events and stuff that sounded pretty cool to me.
Yes, I think FFL/Sustainable Agriculture agent Molly just did a class with me on raising worms or vermicomposting.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some of our regular followers here were on there. There are quite a few people. A lot of people signed up for it. Awful lot.
That is available on your Facebook as well as Hernando County Government YouTube, and I just shared it on my page as well.
Did I put that on our Facebook yet, or do I need to?
I don't know.
I think it's
So
scheduled. It's scheduled for in a day or two. So,
I happened to see it on the YouTube already, so I shared the YouTube
oh,
version of
see,
it.
you beat me to it.
I did.
I schedule things on Facebook anymore, and it's coming up on our Facebook, but really wasn't there yet. So,
My schedule is always as soon as possible. So,
but pretty much when we do a class, it ends up all over the place. Ends
mhm.
up back on our Hernando County Extension Facebook page. And let me go ahead and show the address for it. The short name is Hernando EXT. And it ends up on Lily's.
Mhm.
And what goes on hers gets shared on ours. And it shows up on Hernando County Government's YouTube because we record pretty much all of our classes. So if you go to YouTube and just search for Hernando County Government, if you go there, you're going to see videos about the police department and the fire department and wastewater and everything. But if you look under,
I'm not sure if there's a wastewater one. There might be.
there might be, I haven't looked to see everything that's on there, but there is a little section for Hernando County Extension, which is my videos, and
Uh-huh.
one for Florida Friendly Landscaping, which is Lily's videos. If you look under playlists, you'll find us.
Yep. And when I do a class, I record it and I download it right after the class is over, and then assuming I have the time at the moment, I will upload it directly to Facebook. Sometimes Facebook takes like 45 minutes to make that happen, and then I also put it on a shared drive in the county and let John, our partner at Hernando County, um, 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 why can't I think of what he is? Public information.
Public information,
Yes,
PIO, Public Information
yes,
Office.
yes. I let him make him aware that it is on this shared drive, and he wants descriptions, and somebody on YouTube once commented that they would like the links that I have, on the presentations as part of the description, so you can get them right off of YouTube. So I try to do that now, and sometimes because for some reason I'm just not the only thing he has to do. Oh, I don't know. But yesterday he had it up like within an hour and a half from the time I sent it to him. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we need to have him on as a guest sometime
that would be great. Yes.
because he's one of those people I couldn't make it through the day without him.
No. No.
So guys, if anybody has any lawn and garden related kind of questions, just go ahead and throw them in the chat or send me an email. Let me go ahead and show my email here. And if you have pictures, go ahead and email them to me. I can share them on the screen and we can all see what's going on and try to figure out what's going on. Do our best to.
Oh, we have something from Neil. Tomatillo. Do you see that? Oh, there you go. You had to move out of
Yes.
the house.
I have grown tomatillas before, and I have some started for this year. I think I grew them for the first time maybe 2 years ago, and they were great. And I plant them whenever I can now. Tomatillas are very, very closely related to tomatoes. And if you ever go to a grocery store, especially a specialty Hispanic grocery store, and if you go to Winn-Dixie or Publix, they carry them too. Tomatillas are like a little round green cherry tomato, and they stay green. They never turn red. And you don't chop them up and eat them raw. You could. They're not going to hurt you, but probably not taste very good. And they have kind of a little papery covering on them that you have to peel off. Take tomatillas and you roast them with some onion, hot pepper. If you look online, there's recipes for what you can throw there. And you roast it until it starts to turn just a little bit black around the edges and throw it in a blender and blend it up. That is how you make the green sauce. Help me out here, guys. What's the name of the green sauce on top of Mexican food at a Mexican restaurant?
Verde something.
Yes, you're halfway there.
Yes. Verde means green. I've got that much. Salsa verde. There you go.
Here we go. Thank you, salsa verde. Yes, so you make salsa verde. Oh my gosh, I've made that before. That is fantastic. And you could put that on a lot of different foods. You could put it on, quesadillas and a lot of other Mexican cuisine. You can can it. So if you're into canning, you could look up the directions and how long to. You should be able to water bath it. You probably don't have to pressure can it, but don't quote me on that. Look that up. But you can can it. So
you can it.
Believe
they do little dances. They do cans. Is that what you on the vine?
Okay, now I'm going to have to try to make some. I'm not good at animations yet with video, but I'll keep that in the back of my head for one day. If you hadn't noticed, the price of groceries has gone up, and prices of everything has gone up at least a little, but some things have gone up a lot. So if you look at canned enchilada sauce, if you like to make enchiladas for dinner, it used to be like $1 a can. Then it went up to like $1.50, and I don't know what it is now. It might be quite a bit more than that. So I'm going to grow my own tomatillas to make salsa verde out of, and then probably can it in like half pint jars. Half pint should be about enough to put on dinner. And I'm going to make my own and save a bunch of money, and it tastes a whole lot better. And there's no chemicals in it either. So
I've noticed that your extension office, as well as others, are putting up information, because you've been getting a lot of calls on poultry. Having a small poultry flock, because the price of eggs is, way out there. But I was thinking, I saw eggs, a dozen was $5.94, at my local grocery store. Still, it's high, but not the $8 or something they've been talking about that it's for a dozen. I still say the same thing, and I'm sure everyone agrees. Have chickens because you want chickens. The price of eggs, even though it's high, is still not at a price point where raising chickens is cheaper. There's an expense involved in raising chickens, especially if you're starting from scratch, and you need to build a coop and all that stuff. But even just keeping those chickens fed and all that is probably still cheaper to buy, your eggs. Or you can do like me. The best option is to have people who already have the chickens and buy those fresh eggs from them. I have my little egg girl that I buy from, who is, related to somebody pretty well.
Mhm.
And so that's the best option. But don't run out there thinking you're going to save money on eggs by buying yourself your 4 backyard chickens.
Yeah, you're not going to get rich off of it because I guarantee you the price of feed and the
Yeah,
price of everything else associated with raising those chickens, caring for them, and maintaining them, it's all gone up also.
right.
You have to deal with raising and managing a group of chickens. People have problems with hawks. We have hawks in my neighborhood. And now that we have what is she, about 4 or 5 pound dog living
Mm,
with us, we have to
you
keep
have
an
to
eye
worry
on
about that.
her because
Yeah.
of hawks and buzzards. And you have, goodness knows, in Spring Hill, there's coyotes
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
all kinds of other dangers. So chickens don't raise themselves. It takes a certain amount of time and effort and a lot of education. I know that you were raised with chickens, so it's kind of second nature for you.
Mhm. You act like I was raised in a chicken coop. We had a small flock. I lived in a town that was, yes, the chicken capital of the world, self-proclaimed chicken capital of the world in
It was.
say, the 40s through the late 80s. You know, it was the chicken capital of the world. So there were many chicken farms there, and I did have friends on chicken farms, and I would also occasionally pick up money by working some of the chicken crews till I realized babysitting was a lot less nasty. And um, but my mother and I, yeah, we had a small backyard flock as well. But it's because we wanted chickens, not because it was the eggs were cheaper that way. So
Yeah, so it's probably not a good get rich quick plan, or you're going to save a ton of money on your grocery bill unless you just eat an awful lot of eggs.
my daughter has backyard chickens, and her husband eats so many eggs that she also has to purchase eggs to supplement, um, what the
Wow.
food is giving. So I don't get any from her. I have to go to somebody else.
Okay,
So
let's go through some of these comments here. They're all
yeah,
starting to stack up. So Monique asks, is there a kind of bush bean you like? I love yellow beans,
roll
yellow
that
wax
beautiful
beans.
bean footage. Oh, not those bushes beans. Sorry.
No, no, not those beautiful beans, but so you can grow green beans, and there's a lot of different varieties that grow well. And they're bush beans, which means bush beans only get about a foot or two tall. Pole beans, you have to have a trellis because they get really tall. They take longer to grow. So there's pluses and minuses to the two of them. I love yellow wax beans. And when you're picking them, they're easier to find among the plant.
Mm,
Trying to find those green
green on
beans
green.
amongst the green leaves gets a little tricky.
Hmm. And when should you plant those?
March 1st.
Okay.
I put them in early, March 1st. Now, that's no guarantee there's not going to be a late freeze or frost. You'll have to cover them. If you wait until like April 1st, it's a lot tougher then because it's going to get real hot before you get beans.
On February 3rd, we're going to have a virtual class. That's Friday. It'll be at noon. We're going to have a Friday lunch and learn on springing into Florida friendly landscaping. When I looked at it yesterday, I thought I did this last year. So we're changing it up a little. I'm still going to have your spring beauties and flowers and things, but I asked Dr. Lester to join for the second half to talk about your spring fruits and veggies that you can grow. So, and it will be recorded and available on Facebook as well as YouTube. But if you can join us for a lunch and learn Friday the 3rd at noon, and you'll be talking about wax beans and all the other kind of cool stuff you can plant.
Sure.
Sure. See, I was pushing him. Sure. That's the only answers. I get emails.
Uh,
I ask him in big, long paragraphs. He answers me. Sure.
sure. So we have a question about what is the best type of fertilizer to use for the tender seedlings. If we're talking about a vegetable garden, really because none of you has like 10 acres or more of vegetables, we don't have to worry too much about fertilizer runoff or leaching. Go very, very lightly with your fertilizer. So go lightly, but a little bit more frequently instead of just once, very, very heavy. You don't want to do that. So for a vegetable garden, 666 or 10-10-10 is fine. It's going to work fine.
A balanced fertilizer is what you're looking for.
Yes, balanced fertilizer. Vegetables don't generally have a big demand for micronutrients. They can get micronutrient deficiencies if you have an unusual soil that you're growing them in. So citrus trees need citrus fertilizer. Palm trees, palm fertilizer. Vegetables do fine with 666 or 10-10-10.
Because they're a one and done kind of crop, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a very light scattering of 666 about every couple weeks, once a month on your vegetable garden, because most of what you're growing is over a fairly 1, 2, 3 month period of time before it's done and goes. That should be fine. And then going back to tomatillas, there's a couple different things here. Tamarillos, I think, are the same as tamarinds, which is a tropical fruit tree that I know very little about, but it does get a seed pod that you could do something with. Tomatilla, or tomatilla, probably how you should pronounce it, is a vegetable that's very, very closely related to tomatoes, has a very similar growth habit. Leaves look a little bit different, but similar. And the fruit looks like, I said, it looks just like a big cherry tomato with
Is
the
it
pink
a
leaf.
nightshade plant?
Yes, it's in the nightshade family.
Okay.
Has generally a little bit of a tart taste, but when roasted with other things and run through a blender to make a liquid, makes a wonderful green sauce, which if you ever go to a Mexican restaurant, you get something and you say, give me the green sauce. That's what it has in it, is tomatillas. That's what makes it green.
Cool.
And Chili Beanie agrees that homemade is always better anyway. Yeah, because I know what I'm throwing in it. Some of these things, if you read the can or the box and you start running across things that you can't pronounce, or you've taken chemistry and you still don't know what they are, makes me a little nervous, but that's just me. That's purely personal opinion. And I completely agree. Many of us have cut our cholesterol, and I'm trying to cut my consumption of weird chemicals also. They're not really good for you. Salt, if you eat any processed food at all, you're getting plenty of salt. And unless any of you are like long range runners, or you're practicing for the Olympics, or you're out there working in the sun all day long, you probably don't have too much of a need for a whole lot of extra salt.
Yes, you do.
So when I make my own stuff, I know how much salt and what kind of salt is going into it. And I love farmers markets also. I really enjoy going at the right time of year to the one in Webster on Monday morning. Big farmers market and flea market. So if you want to buy fruits and vegetables and a hat and a t-shirt and some extra socks, it's the place to go. Sunglasses.
Knife.
Sure, sunglasses and a knife. You'll be all set for the week.
You have President's Day off. President's Day is coming. You can go then.
Yeah.
Although
I try to go every Monday when I'm off. You know, I got a lot of.
It's hard to go during the winter because all of the seasonal residents from the villages are there. But
you know that the best time to go is from fall through spring, because that's when a lot is being grown in Florida that they're selling. If you go, I think they're open year round. June, July, and August, they have produce there. Some of it's grown in Florida because you can grow certain things here at that time of year, but not an awful lot. So a lot of the things you get are going to be from other states, other countries. But if you go, let's say this coming Monday, you will have tons of Florida citrus there. You'll have Florida strawberries, a lot of the wintertime vegetables, green beans, yellow beans, summer squash, other stuff that's grown in South Florida, all the green leafy stuff that's grown locally, romaine, bok choy, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and I can go on and on with all the different things that they're going to have. It's going to be fresh because it's either really local or from South Florida, that's still kind of local. If something is shipped here from Argentina, that's not local. Argentina is really, really far away. So it's going to be fairly local food.
And you like to go to the one in Homestead when you're down there too, don't you?
That's, yeah, if we ever go to South Florida, that's like mandatory. We have to go. And it's great because I'll walk through there and I'll see stuff and it's like, I don't know what that is. I've never seen it before. So even I'm surprised sometimes with the different things that can be grown and eaten. And hey, try it all, guys. Be adventurous. Give it a try.
Do you have that YouTube link in your comments or your banner things? Whoa, someone has 55 chickens.
Someone has 55 chickens. Lily, how many did you have when you were growing up?
At one time, no more than 12. Usually about 8 to 12.
How many can you have in Hernando County? Is the limit of 10, I believe?
I mean, it depends on the site, and what you're zoned. If you're zoned agricultural, I'm sure there, that's different. But what you are referring to is those who are zoned only residential. A ordinance passed, I'd say 10 years ago now, saying anyone, maybe not in an apartment, but anyone who has a backyard may have up to 4 hens, no roosters, in their backyard. But if you are zoned residential agricultural, you can I'm sure have more, maybe 55. No.
Check with your local code enforcement first before you buy the chickens.
Yes.
To find out what your rules are. Every town and county and area has totally different rules. Many of them are changing their rules. We like to see them become a little bit more open-minded to allow people to do it. As long as they're polite, you don't want to make your neighbor's life miserable. You don't want your chickens running up and down the street loose. Did yours ever get loose when you were a kid?
In my life, I'd like a small flock again at some point in my life. And some people work it out as working people and still having chickens and stuff. I just want to wait till I'm not going to work every day. Where I live right now, I'd be concerned because of the coyotes, although people do it.
And hawks when they're outside during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody here says that we're allowed to have 4. So
4 hens, 4 chickens, no roosters.
Not 4 roosters.
No roosters in the neighborhoods.
Okay, let me look up to the top here and see how many of these comments that I missed. Somebody's reminder is working. Yes. When you see information about our plant clinic, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook, you can click to have it remind you, and you should get a notification on your phone. I get notifications all the time for meetings, for Facebook, in an hour and a half an hour and 15 minutes and 2 minutes. I'm just getting stuff all the time on mine. So that way you don't forget. But if you do forget, what we're doing today is going to be saved on our Facebook page, the Hernando Extension Facebook page. Don't you share them after the fact on yours?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also on YouTube. So we're all over the place.
We are.
So Maggie Chilabini asks, does South Georgia have a farmer's market? Oh, I guarantee you they do.
Yeah.
Farmers markets have become very, very popular. And depending on the farmers market in the area, it might be every week.
We have one here in Hernando County, too, that meets at the cannery one day, I think Sundays, and Saturdays they are like across from Timber Pines on 19 near the Pizza Hut and the Chili's.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are there. Mm-hmm.
And I know in a lot of areas, there's farmers markets that are very, very large, have been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're great to go and visit, check out, see what they have. Before I moved to
And
Hernando
yes,
County,
before you're amazed at what I said, yes, Hernando County still has an operating Pizza Hut.
an actual, you can go in and sit
Sit
down.
down. Yeah.
Okay, that's old school.
Yeah.
Not many of them left. But years ago, when we lived in Volusia County, we would go to the Winter Park Farmers Market in downtown Winter Park, right outside of Orlando.
Nice.
And it's probably been going on for 50 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's huge every Saturday morning. Tons of people go. They have so many different stands, really, really large ones with a huge variety of produce, cheese, meat, fish, snacks, everything.
Tampa has, I'm sure they have several, but one I've been to, this was pre-COVID, so you would have to check to see if they are functioning now. If you Googled it's just the Watt, W-A-T, because the name is actually about that long. It's at a Buddhist temple in Tampa, and on Sundays they have their open market outside of it. It's a Taiwanese Buddhist temple, and fascinating place to go. Very, 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 very crowded. So I'm not sure if they have opened, or at what capacity yet since COVID.
Well, the one in Webster is pretty crowded also. I always try to go really early.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go early, I don't have to fight crowds, but they're very popular with a lot of people. So Lily, did you have homing pigeons also, or just chickens?
We did not have homing pigeons. Where I live now, up in the Royal Highlands, I think must be the highest concentration of homing pigeon owners, probably in the country that I'm aware of. They do all want to live near each other, and so you look at that and you think that's an odd looking chicken coop. It is a homing pigeon, and I don't know much about. I've lived out there for 15 years. I don't know much about it other than they're out there and they all like to kind of live near each other, and they have competitions with their homing pigeons.
Yeah,
they're used
very
for
popular.
racing, not for. I don't know if they eat their eggs. I don't imagine pigeon eggs are very big or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't ever dealt with homing pigeons other than they're around me, and sometimes a wayward one will show up. So if you have one on your porch or somewhere that has a band around it, they don't really want you to call, from what I know. They don't want that bird to figure it out, where it's supposed to be going. So
yeah, I know a lot of people raise them and race them and compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know what kind of regulations there are about having.
The ones I see are on 5 or 10 acres or more. You would have to look at, your county.
Yeah.
Again, your code.
So yeah, I think going back to farmers market, Buddy says they have at least 4. They probably have more than that. Larger cities tend to have, or larger
and especially
city areas tend to have a lot of them.
Millennials and Gen Zs are really into them, so I'm sure college towns, have quite a bit of them. Tallahassee, Gainesville, Tampa, all of that.
And I see Teresa has posted. Teresa's on here now. Teresa's posted some links to the Spring Hill Farmers Market.
That's the one in that plaza by the Chili's.
And Lee down in Broward County has a huge farmers market down there in Parkland. Like I said, if you've never been to the Homestead Farmers Market on the weekends, it's great. you'll see produce there that you've never seen before, probably. And oh, here. Okay, you're fighting me for comments now. Sue says that Spring Hill is the home and pigeon capital of the U.S. It may be.
I would say the Royal Highlands, but yes.
Yeah. And we always seem to touch on recipes here. Maggie says that when she was young, they ate pigeons. I don't have any pigeon recipes for you today, guys.
Beat the heck out of being hungry. Well, yes, they did eat pigeons. People, I guess, they still eat dove in some areas. They eat quail.
You can eat quail eggs, and I know that you can eat duck eggs. Duck eggs are supposed to, I read this, I don't know from personal experience, because the size of the yolk, they're supposed to be fantastic for baking.
Okay. And speaking of egg prices and baking and stuff, you can find charts on the internet. I've seen them circling around Facebook for egg substitutes. So if you want to save money, we're so used to using eggs for baking. Sometimes it's just there for the moisture. So applesauce or pumpkin or, my gosh. Did you put that there or did Teresa?
Teresa found that link. So Teresa's on the job. She logged in and is following us.
Roasted pigeon. I was watching a television program, a new one, fairly newish, had a couple of seasons, called Ghosts. And they're an Airbnb, and a bunch of ghosts live in their house. And one took over the man's body, and he was trying to impress this person who is going to hold a wedding there. And so the ghost said they were going to have whatever they call pigeon squab or something like that, and oxtails and all the whatever they would have had in colonial times. And he was very excited that they were going back to the historic, have this theme of, and so they had to figure out where they were going to find these pigeons, and they found them in the attic. I'm not sure I would want to eat those, but
well, if you think about it, we have chicken, we have Cornish game hens, which I haven't had since I was a kid, but they're very good. You can find them at the grocery store.
sure.
We have Maggie Chilibini. Sorry, I just love that name. Says if you can go to an Oriental market for some eggs, you can find you have to go to an Asian food market, and there is that one over on State Road 19 now.
Okay.
That if you've never been there, is great. I love Asian food.
North of Northcliff.
Yes, right there at Northcliff and 19.
You can't
maybe
miss it. It says Asian market. It's not. It's very clear what it is.
Yeah.
Or you can go down to Tampa, find out from that Wat Temple if they're open. But like I said, you can also use applesauce sometimes in recipes in place of eggs, or sometimes pumpkin.
Yeah.
And they're even talking about like chia seeds and water or something, which that seems odd. The applesauce makes sense, adding the moisture, but there you go.
Flaxseed. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed and 3 tablespoons of water. Let it sit for a spell, and it substitutes for 1 egg.
Okay.
Okay, I've never tried that before, but I know that you can, at Asian food stores, you can find canned quail eggs, and I've never tried them before. If anybody watching has.
Oh, canned eggs.
What do you do with them?
Canned eggs sounds sus to me.
And yes, the Asian food store is by the Pickle Parrot. You know where the Pickle Parrot is, don't you, Lily? It's not far from your house. You just go right down 19.
I do know where it is. I've never been in it.
Neither have I.
It's just north of Northcliff.
And here we go. Teresa says it is the HL Asian Supermarket.
Yes.
So supporting small businesses in Hernando County.
Mm-hmm. And since we're talking about all this food again, Oh, stuffed pigeons are one of the meals I miss. They stuff them with rice, ground beef, and spices. That all sounds good except for the pigeon part.
Stuffed pigeons, stuffed peppers, yeah, kind of along the same lines, I guess.
Did I tell you about a conversation I had with someone we both know? You're going to figure out who it is from the conversation, wanting to know why don't we eat robins anymore? Because a flock of robins, as was happening a few weeks ago, landed in this person's yard. And he said they're huge, they're as big as quail. Why don't we eat them? And I did some research, found out, yeah, we did eat robins in colonial times. And it probably fell out of favor, but now they are protected by the Songbird Protection Act of America. But you can guess who it was that wonders what he can eat from everything that lands in his yard.
That's sustainable.
But apparently at one point we would make little robin pies, like the mockingbird pie that there's a nursery rhyme about.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're small. Even the large ones are small.
Right. I assured this person,
Cornish game hen?
If the entire grid or whatever crashes, that where he lives there are deer and fish and normal things to eat before he has to worry about robins.
Okay, should we plan a series of classes entitled When the Grid Crashes? Would I get in trouble for that? I'm not sure.
It'd be kind of ironic that you are doing them online.
Sure, I'm sure. So take this class and burn it to a CD for reference.
Oxtail stew is awesome. Had it many times. Chili Beanie is a very interesting person.
So see, we're covering all the
Since Maggie mentioned, when she was a wee lad, I'm thinking perhaps Chili Beanie was not born in America.
Well, Sue has a family member that got that meat allergy from being bit by a certain type of tick, and they only eat poultry. So they just got ostrich eggs, which are very, very large. So you only need one of them scrambled. Asian supermarket is very inexpensive, and you get everything. They have some really unusual produce that you're not going to find at your corner Winn-Dixie or Publix necessarily. Check it out.
I've been watching. Apparently, he's been doing this for a while on TikTok and YouTube. Young man, he's 27. He has many talents, but what he started doing and then doing on TikTok, which ended up on YouTube and Facebook, is these short videos. It reminds me of something you should emulate, because what he has chosen to do is take in cookbooks, any cookbooks he can find or people send to him from 1900 on up, some of these old recipes, and he puts them together and then he judges them. So he's hilarious because a lot of times they're not good, but then sometimes he surprises them. The sauerkraut chocolate cakes and the Jello in everything from the 60s. I just watched him try to eat green Jello with tuna salad in. But I thought, that, and it's a very quick, because he would do it on TikTok. So, it's all spliced together, little quick pieces of it. But I thought, well, that's what Bill can do for some of these grow it and eat it sessions. But you're not going to be as funny as this guy. He's pretty.
Yeah, no, we need to do something about that. We need to, well, obviously we're sharing dinner and recipe suggestions here and now.
Yes.
We need to have a cooking show, I think. And Corey is the one who is coming up as Facebook user today.
Okay.
It said, When the grid crashes, we could rename it as sustainability in disaster situations. I'm writing that down. I like the idea.
Yeah, because I mean, we have storms in which you can be off grid for a week or two, and doesn't mean you need an underground bunker 5 acres big, just canning and stuff like that to have stuff when you need it. The way our parents did it, really. So,
Yeah, and I'm already thinking of the picture that I could use for the Facebook event.
okay.
We can get creative with that one, I think.
Yes. So, on a completely different subject, I got my first email of someone who was cited for violating water restrictions. Not the first email for that. The first one since our 2 new code enforcement officers have been on the job. Hernando County has hired 2 new code enforcement officers whose entire focus is the watering restrictions here in Hernando County. So we have 2 people dedicated just to that. These 2 people came from Hernando County Utilities, so they know water. They know what they're doing. And they will work split shifts. So someone's going to be out there at night and in the evenings, and someone's going to be out there on the weekends.
Uh-oh, dun dun dun.
They will all both have access to all of the gated communities. Now, this person who emailed me, it was just an email to the water conservation email, not even to Lily B, just to the water conservation email. And they gave no indication of who they were or, where they were. They just, in fact, the subject was fine, and I didn't read it fine like fine. When I first read it, I thought somebody was starting their subject fine. But it was that they got a fine, and their complaint, and it went right to code enforcement. That's where I sent it. But was that they've lived here for 16 years, and they've been watering. They weren't clear how often they've been watering, and they were just violated and immediately had a $100 fine with no warning. And they didn't feel that that was right. That is the way that code enforcement operates. I mean, if you're violating, you will be fined. If they suspect, or maybe someone turned you in, then you may be warned. But if they catch you watering when you're not supposed to be watering, obviously the first fine is $100. I'm not aware of the graduated schedule. I do know it's not going to stay $100 because we do have people out there who will say, fine, I'll just keep giving you $100 because it's worth it to me to be able to water more. No, it's going to go up quickly. And after like 4 strikes, and you're in front of the special magistrate. So if you're in Hernando County, I want you to pass the word to your friends and to your neighbors and to everyone. We're under 1 day a week watering restrictions. We have been for about 12 and a half years. The person who complained that she didn't get a warning after 16 years, my thoughts were, well, 12 and a half years we've had this in place that
kind of like telling the police officer, it's okay because I always speed through the school zone.
Right.
I have for years.
Yeah. So just pass the word. They're out there and they're doing their job. So.
Okay, let's pop through a couple of quick questions and comments here, and then I have 2 very important things.
Ooh.
So Sue says that she went to a coyote lecture at Wellington, and that's true. Coyotes, if you start to call them, we'll just let you imagine what that means. If we start to try to reduce their numbers, then they respond by having larger litters and more frequent litters. So that was a problem. I know that I heard in California they tried doing that, and they were actually using helicopters to try to reduce their numbers, And the coyotes responded by making even more coyotes. So in the end, they
Life
had
finds
just as
a
many
way.
as they had.
Life finds a way. They're scavengers. They are opportunists.
Yes, it does.
They, you know. Oh, the question, did you see the question was, do squirrels do the same thing? Because she has a neighbor trapping.
Not that I know of. And Teresa shared a YouTube video link. I'm not sure what it's for.
Hopefully coyotes, maybe.
And Maggie Chili Beanie has eaten venison. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people here in Florida, and of course in many other states, hunt deer. And you can can it and preserve it in a lot of ways.
And Maggie Chili Beanie, did you see where she's from?
No. Pennsylvania? Shamokin?
Yeah. Yes.
Shamokin,
I believe. Coal mining country. At least she was born in a hospital. I was born in Homestead Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's the home of Iron City beer, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I must have taught you that. You wouldn't have known that otherwise.
I already knew that. I knew that from growing up in Maryland. You know, Pennsylvania wasn't all that far away.
No, it's not. It's not.
Southern Pennsylvania.
Right. Depression era folks taught me to use apple peels for pectin to make jelly. Why not? And a lot of this gentleman I've been watching his videos, he does a lot of depression era food, and sometimes he's surprised. Like, you know, then he yells at it, "Why are you good? There's nothing about you that should be good." But other times he's like, you know, this is an abomination.
And regular follower Alicia is on TikTok, saying it's because of you. Okay, I'm not sure how, but I have not had a chance to do anything really with TikTok. I was gonna create a TikTok channel page, whatever the term is, for our dog Cashmere, because he deserves it. He's very engaging. And the name of it will be Cashmere the Adventure Husky. So I haven't done it yet. When I do it, I'll share it with everybody, and you got. So at least he'll have a couple fans.
Cashmere and Trevor made an appearance in my program yesterday about protecting the springs. Just so you know, they made an appearance in the Pick Up the Poo slide.
And there's Cashmere, looking oh so comfortable, laying and sleeping the way huskies do on their back, all twisted up and everything. So we try to throw him in our I try to throw him in my presentations as often as I can. And
you have, I mean, in there I said you have a much bigger job with the picking up the poo than I do with my 2 little 8-pounders. You have any questions?
Yes, we'll do one here. I bought a Simpson stopper the other day. Lots of variation in its mature size depending on the amount of sun or shade it gets, I'm reading. Is there any variation in its growth or size due to our Hernando County hard freezes?
I haven't. I mean, my only experience with Simpson stopper has been mature Simpson stopper that was already, you know, probably 10 years old and well grown as a hedge, like a screening hedge. I don't think it responded to freezes at all.
It's native, and it does not generally get damaged by.
It's got those waxy leaves that, you know, don't respond to freezes, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. You will get just genetic variation because there is no, probably not that I know of, any named cultivars or specific varieties of Simpson stopper.
No.
So you're going to get my guess is you're going to get a lot of genetic variation in it.
Why is it called a stopper, Dr. Lester?
Because when it blooms, it makes you stop and look at it.
Okay, sure.
That's just my guess.
We're gonna go with that.
We'll go with that.
No,
Sounds
the
good.
berries, I'm not telling you, because I don't know how to do this, but the berries can be used in a Pepto-Bismol type of way.
Really?
Yes, that's why it's called a Simpson stopper. Yes. You
Oh,
didn't do that. No, I taught you
oh. It took a moment.
something.
Okay. I don't know anything. I don't know much about that one. So
Yeah, but
you'll
please
have to
don't go
investigate
eat
that.
the berries, because I'm sure there's a process that has to be done.
I'm sure Teresa will put a link to a University of Florida fact sheet on Simpson stopper in general,
Yeah.
which will gives you an idea of its mature size, kind of minimum and maximum.
They get pretty big.
Yeah,
hmm
they're kind of slow growing, so it takes a number of years.
Wildlife loves them. I will warn you, love bugs love them too, for some reason, but that's only a few weeks a year. So
Okay, well, here, let me go ahead and jump in here and mention to everybody, I finally remembered to bring them along. So here we have calabaza seeds. So for all of
really
our
see them.
loyal
Put them
followers,
closer to the camera. I couldn't really see what they look like. Oh, okay, they look like pumpkin seeds.
yes, they do. Closely related, same plant family. So they look like pumpkin seeds. They are calabaza seeds. They come from good stock, ones that give you potentially 20-pound or more squash off of them. So if you would like 10 free calabaza seeds, what you need to do is take our survey. Many of you have only take it once. So if you've already took it a few months ago, that's great. You're done with that part. But if you haven't taken our survey, please do so. And I did put a link to it in the chat. And let me go ahead and put that in the banner also, although that's kind of that's a really long link.
Yeah, no one's gonna get that written down.
So in a moment, I'll go ahead and put that in the chat once again. Let's see if we still got it. Yes, we do. I put that back in the chat once again. So if you take our survey and email me your name and your address, we'll send you a little envelope. We even got the little envelopes here that we'll put 10 seeds in, and we'll put it in a regular envelope and mail it to you. We'll somehow find in our budget money for stamps. Times are tough. But we do have money for enough stamps here. And we'll send you a couple of calabaza seeds. And
Where did you get them?
I got them from my calabaza that I grew.
Oh, cool.
And when you get the seeds, you don't want to plant them now. You want to wait till it gets good and warm, and you can grow them this summer. I grew them last summer, and I got 4 calabaza. Calabaza is, we've talked about it before, also known as Cuban pumpkin. It's a big round squash, closely related to pumpkins, winter squashes, other, vegetables like that. I got 4 of them, and they were all averaged about 20 pounds each.
I just got an interesting email that we should
Okay.
pass the word about from the Public Information Office, as we were just discussing.
Yes. Uh-oh, we in trouble?
Apparently, and I wasn't aware of this happened. No, we're not in trouble.
Okay, good.
This is, I think, a good thing for us. It's a good thing for Brittany, who oversees the coastal cleanup. I didn't realize it happened in December, but the Board of County Commissioners unanimously passed an ordinance to prohibit smoking and vaping in Hernando County parks and beaches. And this county,
I read a while back that was on the up for discussion.
This county ordinance is effective starting May 15th in all Hernando County park and beach locations. Wow, the county ordinance allows enforcement with a penalty up to $1,000 per day for the first violation. That person won't complain about their $100 watering fine. That, and I just addressed that yesterday in the class that I taught about water. What are you doing to protect our springs? And no matter where you are, whether you're at a park or a beach or wherever, I'm starting a campaign which is called "Get Your Butts Off the Ground." You know.
You think up the best titles. That's why I always ask for your advice.
If you're a smoker, that's a whole separate issue. You know, you do you. But why? People who would never litter otherwise think it's okay to throw their cigarette butts on the ground, and that is littering, and that is not stuff that's going to break down anytime in the near future. You know, just like anything else, it's not a pure cotton or anything in there anymore. You know, so
Well, I'm still surprised by the number of people that just whip water bottles and soda cans and beer cans out of their car window.
yeah.
When I walk around our neighborhood, we still have a number of empty lots, and you walk along the edge of them, and I don't know what somebody did. There's like 20 plastic water bottles there. What did they pull over and clean their car out into an empty lot? I don't know, but
Hmm.
I get stuff. We live on a corner lot in Spring Hill, and I get beer cans, water bottles, all kinds of stuff.
Hmm. Yep. And this was the first year in 2022's coastal cleanup. The first year that cigarette butts were not the number one item picked up; they were number two. Water bottles, I think, were number one. Um,
Yeah.
so that's interesting that now you can't smoke on the beaches or parks, and that's because of people throwing, who won't get their butts off the ground. So,
Okay, we got a couple more questions here. Maggie Chilibini asks, are food plants held to the same standard as people who water useless grass? Frog fruit is a better ground cover. It feeds moths and some butterflies.
well, you don't need to water your frog fruit.
Nope.
It's gonna grow
I have
right
big
well
patches
by
of it
itself.
naturally in my yard. I do have all the butterflies that it supports in droves every summer, and then the white peacocks come out very, very late summer, early fall.
And it also attracts the Phaon crescent
Hmm.
and the buckeye butterfly and the white peacocks that you mentioned. To answer the first half of your question, Maggie, vegetable gardens are not on any kind of watering restriction. That's referring to lawns and landscapes. So,
And I guess it's Corey saying that he is planting potatoes when they come in stock. This is almost the perfect time to plant them, February, and it's going to be February in what, a couple days.
now I wouldn't water my vegetable garden at midday. You wouldn't recommend that anyway, would you, Bill?
No, you want to water your vegetable garden very early morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the sun comes up, it's going to dry off the leaves. If you water it in the middle of the day, you're just losing a lot of water due to evaporation.
Right.
Corey got a husky a few months ago as a rescue. They are wonderful dogs. I could tell you a lot about them.
All your huskies
If it's
are
your only dog, that's going to be tough because they are needy. They need their little pack. So if you have other dogs, they do just great. Or if you want to take them everywhere, they do just great. Ours, we take them to stores, we take them to restaurants. We'll take, you can take dogs to Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
And we've taken to Lowe's before for a package of screws and like a door handle or something. And we're there for 2 hours because everybody wants to pet them and talk and tell us stories and everything else. So they're great.
And you take yours in your RV.
He loves to go camping. He loves to go to restaurants. And he does really, really well at restaurants, and everybody loves him. And we went to Rookies, which is right up the street from here. So since they're so nice, I'm going to mention that we want to support local businesses. So Rookies, and we always sit outside. And if you sit outside, you can have your dog. And they brought him ice cream. Not a little bit of ice. They brought a bunch of ice cream, and that was one happy husky. So
He lost the 2 members of his pack in the past couple of years, but now he has an itsy bitsy pack member.
he picked up a new one. So
Yes, that he could put in his pocket if he had a pocket.
yeah. Because Kashmir is about 70 pounds, so he's pretty big for a husky, and his rear end's starting to get a tiny bit wider. So we need to, not gain too many more pounds. But he's not overweight, but he's big. And the Chihuahua is about 4 or 5 pounds. And to see if the two of them together is just, the Chihuahua's almost pure black, Kashmir is pure white, and Kashmir is 10 times as big as the Chihuahua. And they're the best of friends. They get along just great.
I'm sure Kashmir is very comfortable for the Chihuahua to lay all over. You have any other questions?
I see Teresa did put up some information about Simpson Stopper on here. Like I said, it is a good native plant.
Chili Beanie doesn't remember if she took the survey. Don't ding her.
If you accidentally take it a second time, that's not the end of the world. But don't think that you need to take it over and over and over again. So if you've taken it just once, we're working on the honor system here. Go ahead and email me your name and your address, and we'll get some seeds out to you. And I'll show my email in just a minute here. Wow, because it's time to wrap it up, I think. And
well, we have a broccoli and a cabbage question. So
yes, if you're watching this as a recorded broadcast, either on Facebook, YouTube, however you're watching it, after the fact, you qualify also. So I'm going to show my email address in a moment. If you take the survey and you email me your name and mailing address, we'll send you 10 Calabasa seeds. There we go, right up in the camera there, for free, that you could try growing this summer. If you can't find the link for some reason to the survey, include that in your email. Say, hey, I can't find the link, and I'll email it to you. So easy money. We can fix that. So somebody has broccoli that's not getting ahead yet, and then you can eat the leaves. Broccoli, you can eat the leaves. They're not going to hurt you. You can eat the stem. You can take the stem and grind it and make broccoli slaw, which is very, very nutritious. It's good for you. High fiber, maybe not everybody's favorite. Might be kind of an acquired taste.
Why didn't it grow a broccoli?
Just hasn't yet. We still have enough winter that you can be patient and wait. If by the beginning of March it hasn't made ahead, it's probably not going to at that point. It's going to get too warm at that point.
One time I tried to grow broccoli, I got ahead about that big, and then it started, growing the flowers out of it. So it wasn't going to get
yeah. You need to pick it before it flowers.
Right.
And Monique did find a nice sized wax myrtle. If you remember, we were talking about wax myrtles last week, I think. She had to go to Inverness, Bacati. Yeah, they're around.
Is that Color
You're not
Country?
going to find it at your normal big box store.
Yeah. Did you go to Color Country on 44, Monique? Well,
we covered all the recipes. We answered all the questions. We talked about eating all kinds of really bizarre things, but we haven't mentioned poop yet this week.
We did mention the lack thereof with the Simpson Stopper. And also that, your dogs, I used them as models of picking up after your pests. When should they crop their cabbage? They look so good. I want to make sauerkraut. I want to push it into the season and ensure they get nice and big. I wouldn't push it too far, would you? Would you, Bill? If they look good now.
That's a good question. With something like cabbage, if you think it's big enough, you can pick it and eat it. You can let it go. Eventually, when it gets as big as it's ever going to get, it will crack. So if you see it start to crack, go out there and pick it real quick and make use of it. and make sauerkraut. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You'll have to look that one up online, but it's not very difficult to do.
Vinegar.
But you don't want to mess it up because things won't turn out really well for you if you do, but it's not very difficult to do. We've been making sauerkraut for what, probably thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done that either. I need to try that.
That's one of those recipes I watched, was when people put sauerkraut in chocolate cakes. The guy did that. He was amazed. He said it just felt like coconut. You couldn't really taste the sauerkraut once it was all baked.
And Lee wants to send us a postpaid envelope. Thank you. That saves us what is it, about $16, $17 for a stamp now?
I really have no idea. I get forever stamps. They're 55 cents, maybe something.
No, it's got to be more than that. So here is my email address. So you can shoot me an email and we'll mail you 10, one more time, calabaza seeds for your garden for this summer. If you take our survey, if you can't find our survey, email me and I'll email you back the link so you can take it. It's only a few questions, only takes a minute. We don't sell your contact information. We're not going to send you spam. I don't even put you on the email list. You're probably there already.
We'll send you seeds, but not spam.
Exactly. So we'll send you seeds. And if you want to mail the office here, just give us a call. Teresa will give you our mailing address. I could tell it to you. I just don't have it.
16110 Aviation Loop Drive, Brooksville, Florida 34604.
Wow, very good. I'm impressed. That is our mailing address.
Want me to say it slower?
Sure, go ahead and say that one more time, slow and clear.
110 Aviation Loop Drive, Brooksville, Florida 34604.
Or if you have any questions for Lily, feel free to shoot her an email. We get lots of very nice thank you emails, which I personally really enjoy. I don't
enjoy forwarding those to our bosses.
Exactly. And I want to mention that just this past week, we got a very, very nice letter from Anju Dave, who I'm not sure if she's on here today or not. She is a lot. She's been a Facebook follower for a very long time, with a very, very kind donation in the form of a check for our program. So we do take donations.
We do not. So don't send it.
Lily does not, but we do. So, and we put that into our programs, being able to buy supplies, things like lights on occasion when they break. Stamps are $16 a stamp now, so obviously they add up. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up having to pay for some postage here before we're all said and done. And also Sharon Fogel, who is a master gardener, who I'm not sure if she's normally on here or not. She might have been in the past. Sharon's a very, very nice lady. And she made a donation also, so we wanted to publicly thank those people.
60 cents per stamp now.
It's got to be more than that. I think pull my leg on that one. I need to Google
I was trying to remember the smallest denomination of stamp I remember, and I'm thinking it's 13 cents. I know a lot of people talk about 5 cents and all that, but in my actual memory, having knowledge of what a stamp cost when I was 8 or 9, I think they were 13 cents. Maybe 10. I'm not sure. But.
Okay, as we wrap it up here, as I see the comments start to swirl downhill, Teresa did share a University of Florida fact sheet on calabasas, so that tells you the basics. If you go to Hernando County Government's YouTube, I have a recording of a class we did last year, maybe the year before, with Dr. Maru. who's with University of Florida, and he is doing research on Calabaza for commercial growers. Very, very popular among Cuban residents and Caribbean residents of Florida. It's becoming more and more of a profitable commercial crop. He's doing all the research on that, and very, very good class. So if you want to know about what the heck is a calabaza, you can find out that way. Sue's starting to ask about her neighborhood, about different unusual smells. So we can't help with that.
No.
I'm
Teresa
not
showing-
in enforcement. Lily
Teresa-
is with the water department, but even she's not involved with enforcement of that. So
No. Teresa showing us an Adopt a Road cleanup by Audubon on this Saturday, 8 to 10. Trash on North Cliff between 19 and Deltona. And then you can stop at the Asian Market when you're done. See, that works out. Well,
perfect.
high school students will receive credit for community service meet at 8 a.m. in the parking lot of Good Shepherds at North Cliff. BB has an interesting, she read the other day, the first phase of septic to sewer is going to begin. Good news for the water supply. Yep, that's going to take some time, but yeah, that's going to start happening. Those who are involved know it. They know they're involved. They're in our primary focus area, so.
And here's a very good question. For people who watch us live on our Facebook group, that's great. It works. But when you log on, you have to scroll to the bottom and give Facebook permission to show your name. I don't know why it has that rule. It's just one of those weird internet things. Otherwise, you'll show up as Facebook user when we look at the comments here on StreamYard, and we just have to guess at who you are. I think that if I'm on Facebook on my phone, let's try this.
Alicia is looking for potatoes. Do you know where she can find potatoes? I guess to plant is what she's referring to.
That's a tough one. You can use grocery store potatoes if you make them sprout. You know, if you let them, if you can put them in a glass of water, you can plant them in the soil, and they'll start to sprout. You used to be able to buy them at feed stores. There's fewer feed stores around. Are there any feed stores in the area?
Yeah.
Well, she's in Orange County.
Okay, yeah, but we have feed stores.
Yeah. And you can.
On a different question, Sharon's talking about how can we convince people not to rake leaves and put them in big garbage bags that the garbage company does not take. The garbage company does take them on specific yard trash days. The person, you just have to find out when your yard trash pickup is. Although with Florida Friendly and with University of Florida in general, would rather you do something better with those leaves, such as compost them or use them as mulch. But as far as being picked up by the trash company, you just have to wait for the yard waste day. Corey took the survey 3 times. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hey, that's okay. I just don't feel that you have to.
Here is a...
We're live.
I wondered why I was talking again. Here's a link to find out about planting cabbage. And of course, Teresa tells us stamps are 60 cents. Someone, do they wait on the cauliflower too, just like they have to wait on the broccoli?
Yes, you have to. You have to be patient. It'll make a head when it makes a head. Once we get into early March, it's gonna. Let me turn you off.
Yeah.
Once we get into early March, it's going to get too warm for broccoli and cauliflower. The plants are going to decline, and if you started them just way too late, you're probably not going to get broccoli or cauliflower off them.
Someone wants to know if you have an office in the bunker that looks like an overpass with dirt by the airport. Yep, they do. No, it's about...
We're not far from that.
Not very far from that at all. Just kind of down the street, right where the traffic light is at Spring Hill Drive and California Street. You can turn at the bunker and go down Aviation Loop to find their place, or you can go to the traffic light and turn there. They are right next door to the post office where you can buy your 60-cent stamp.
Yes.
So, all right.
And somebody else pointed out that Rookies is very dog friendly. That's very good. And going back to finding potatoes to plant, seed companies online generally sell potatoes. You can get specific red potatoes, gold potatoes. There's a couple other varieties. Try that. They may be sold out at this point, and make sure they're shipping them now, because if they don't ship them until like April for people up north, let's say they're trying to grow, that's too late to grow them here. Here, if you want to grow potatoes, you need to start them pretty much February.
My mother would always tell a story that as she was being born on April 20th in 1922 in Pennsylvania, that her 14-year-old twin brothers were sent out to plant potatoes in the snow. So that just shows you the difference between what you did up north and here.
Yeah, we don't plant anything in the snow here, but
no. And you don't want to plant your potatoes in April, probably.
And Corey, our cashmere is getting a little bit older, creakier, and he has slowed down and settled down. It happens around age 9, so something to look forward to. He was full of piss and vinegar until about age 9.
All right, it's 11:16, Dr. Lester. I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna rack it up here, and Teresa has thrown some more links in here. So, guys, great conversation. I know we covered a lot of recipes and some vegetables and Simpson stopper and everything else. So.
Oh, here's a place. Oh, what'd you do with it?
Gosh, I'm just trying to scroll down through here. So.
Okay. Gurney's, though, does it matter where you get your potato seeds from to grow them in Florida as compared to Michigan, or is it just a timing kind of thing?
It doesn't matter. And you know, in the past, we would always be able to tell people that you don't plant potatoes from seeds. You have to have a potato, and you cut it up so that each piece has an eye.
You have a slit.
Where a stem is going to come out. You let it dry for a day or so. You plant each little cut piece, and you'll get potato plants. There's a variety of potatoes that you can grow from seed. So you can order the packet of seed whenever you want during the year. Here in Central Florida, you're going to plant it in February. South Florida is going to be a little bit different. You probably go a little bit earlier.
Like today? It's the.
Oh yeah, today.
Yeah.
Today is a good day to plant potatoes.
Okay, we should end with that. It's a good day to plant potatoes.
So on that thought, I think we'll stop it there. And Lily, you going to be back next week?
Sure. Why not?
I will be too.
I won't be able to stay till 11:18 or so because I have another meeting. I will need to get ready for a groundwater guardian meeting, which you should be able to come to since it's
at noon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw that email today. I will be there.
Yay. Okay.
Yay. So we'll do the plant clinic at 10, and then I'll pack it up and head over there.
Okay.
And then I'll go to the Asian food store from there if I haven't been already. And, okay.
Yeah, works out. And Lee plants their potatoes in November in South Florida, and we need to go with that.
Yes, we do. So, hey, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you for the fun conversation. I hope my boss wasn't, watching this one live, but if he was, I could talk my way out of it. So
yeah, there you go.
So until next week, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you here next Thursday at 10 a.m.
Yep.
Okay,
goodbye, everybody. Bye.